everyone. So, as mentioned, I'm from Citizens Collective. We are a group of professionals who came together after the recent sort of turmoil in the country because we've had enough. We are entrepreneurs. Like I work in IT technology. I've had a few startups. I'm still working in technology, and I have my colleague Sajid also here with me. So we'll be very quick because we have limited time. So recently I visited Germany, and from there I was sort of taught about sustainable energy, wind, solar, more than I'm used to, because in Sri Lanka I work in IT, but I've never been working in the energy sector. So it opened up a lot of new horizons. So I thought when I saw this advertisement asking for public opinion, this is the perfect opportunity, right? Because I think there are so many professionals in my age group working abroad in sustainable energy, and they're like, why can't Sri Lanka do this while we are working in Australia, Germany, and everywhere, doing a lot in sustainable energy? And they're like, we have so much potential, but why not? So this is my take on this and my colleagues' take on it. So I'm talking about something called a microgrid, where we were taught that people in the community put money and start up energy storage, energy generation projects. So it can be wind, it can be solar, it can be amalgamation of these methods that is used to fund and then get profit out of the venture, because it is then sustainable. You are not only the operator and the venture capitalist, you are also the consumer. So there's a lot of, you take a lot of responsibility in this. Otherwise, we are always the audience. Whatever we are given, we are happy with it. This is not going to work anymore. So if you look at sustainable energy, the investment, like 1 megawatt would cost about $800,000 to $1 million to set up. So that is the capex expenditure. For wind, it will be about 1.3 million and over for 3.5 to 6 megawatt turbines. So these can be, like we have a lot of wind potential, we have a lot of solar potential. It can be in Kandy, as the previous presenter was telling, it might be even in the offshore. So the offshore potential is a lot. We have over 5 meters per second in most areas, I think. So I might be correct, please correct me, I'm a very newbie to this scene, but I hope to work with you all together diligently, because it's no more waiting at home, right? We can't do it anymore. So, and also a lot of problems, I think, about the frequency and managing inertia is already taken very well care of by developed countries. They use battery, they use sync-ons and things like this. So they can manage the excess or the on-demand capacities very easily. Some countries are even generating this backup storage as industrial storage and frequency. Now they are like creating virtual power storage units by amalgamating home-based battery storage units. So we have, like, this is the second point. So the second point is about gathering a panel of experts, even from abroad, expats from Sri Lanka who are working in the sector, to work with the CEB and the PUCSL very fast, because we can't spend a lot of time. Like, we can't work with 5 experts for the entire country on renewable energy. There are so many thousands of people in this sector who would come to help. So as the previous presenter also mentioned, hydrogen is also gaining a lot of traction, but is this talked about in the new plan? I didn't see it. I actually looked at about 40 pages out of the 300 odd, because I didn't have a lot of time. I'm a volunteer. I'm not a sector professional. I don't earn anything out of this. So I'm sorry, I was only able to go up to about 30, 40 pages, and I didn't see anything about how we are going to enact this very fast, because I saw, like, in 2025 they were talking about enacting about 60 megawatt of wind new. So that is a very small amount. It might be like 10 new wind turbines of 6 megawatt. That's a very small amount for a country with so much potential, right? And also, why not we conserve the existing river catchments? I also have a social venture where we do tree planting. We planted over 103,000 trees as volunteers. That's where I met Sajid also. So like a lot of people do CSR, they come and work with us. So we go and plant trees around the country. But what we've seen is a lot of the forests are fragmented. A lot of the river systems are very muddy now, because there's a lot of soil washing down. So I think the CEB and everyone are responsible to preserve their catchments. So this is something we don't need to wait for investments even. I think in the long-term generation plan, they should look at conserving the existing catchments, because we are already having about 50% of our energy provided by rain these days, right? Okay, so and the other one is eliminating the single buyer model, which is right now there. So as I mentioned, like microgrids can be operated by communities, public-private partnerships, private companies. So they can be generators. Some people might be grid layers. So why not we think innovatively? This is not rocket science because it's done for a decade or more abroad, right? So we have to be fast. We have to be innovative. We have to change the system, basically in energy also. We have to remove the CEB as a monolithic, Goliath who's blocking things rather than and get people to involve themselves. So yeah, and one other thing which I was reading about is, I think, a good thing. To remove the monolith, we have to have an independent service operator. I think this was not clear to me in the existing plan. I don't think it's part of the CEB's plan. It should come as maybe a legislative action also. So that should be done. And also, so they have been complaining that the transformers can't take the renewable energy. The grid is not enough to take on the excess demand, excess capacity sometimes. So these should be updated. I mean this diagram, the image is from a private company who provides backup storage. All the lighted up dots are homes which are acting as backup storage. So there's plenty of people who have bought solar systems these days. They can be earning money to store and then to give back energy. And it can be as frequency management or for backup storage, because we have excess solar, then at night we might have wind, but there is a demand we have to manage. So these systems with the smart metering and smart grid system, this can be done. So citizens are here to help you all. We will work together. So we can get this done, because I don't think this takes a lot of time. This is all technology abroad. And also the tariff system, time of use for all users. I think still in the new plan also, this is not going to be enforced for 100% of consumers. So we have to look at charging people more when there's more demand, so they manage their usage, because it's cheaper to ask people to manage their electricity supply than even doing renewables. So this is something we need to look at and educate the people and also do ourselves. So again, like abroad, so this is another community grid project. You can see an image of. If people, I think the BOI zone in Kandy uses about 3 megawatt of energy. It's a minor, small amount. Why not have their own region generating this? So the regulations and the legislation should update for this. Also, there's a 70% and such RE cap on the current plan. Why not remove it and allow it as a free flow of RE potential? Because if we try to limit it, that will put a roof, right? The universe is very large. We have to think broadly. So here, South Australia was running about 80% on renewables recently. There was a failure of their coal and other backup sort of always on energy solutions. So there are just 4 more slides. I'll ask my colleague to quickly finish over that. So this is from the energy village I visited recently.
I'm going to keep it quick because I think we're already running out of time. So like Achal said, he recently visited Germany, and they've got a self-sustained energy village which's got a microgrid. So they produce their energy using solar, wind, they've got some biogas as well. They've got a very advanced battery storage system. Now, this started as a very small pilot project. So we are not expecting Sri Lanka to go, dive deep into a system like this, but unless we start something small, obviously we don't have the potential to advance to something that they have already achieved here in Germany. So a project that started as a pilot project and which was quite small, and this is the data that I've just screen captured it here. The production that they have, so they actually produce a surplus which they sell to the free energy market in Europe. They make, I think, about 7 million euros profit per year, this small village, right? So they are like a little cooperative that makes money out of producing energy. They harvest a lot of wind energy. They harvest quite a lot of solar as well. I think the slide I have is a bit of an exception, probably a windy day. You can see the blue production is wind there. So I think they've only got about 11 wind turbines, 11 or 14 wind turbines, what they've got here. So it's a microgrid, so it can work independently from the main grid as well, if in case the main grid fails, which happens quite a lot here in Sri Lanka. So if we can manage microgrids for areas, for example, I come from the IT field, Achala comes from the IT field. For us, power is essential. Our businesses don't run when power is not there. The reason why we are here is that as well, because this is not our industry. But we can't sustain unless you provide us the energy we need, so why don't we come and help you out as well? And how can we help out? We can create systems like this. It can be an open source project. We are more than happy. We've got plenty of professionals who can chip in and make this open source project, which we can code free of charge as well. So if you want like grid monitoring systems, if you want to have dashboards, if you want to manage databases, that's where we can come in and help out. This is like I told you the small village I told you about earlier. This is the income that they've got in a year. You can see quite a lot of wind energy, and then they've got some solar and biogas and some hydropower as well. But if we think about this as a module, we can implement it in many regions in Sri Lanka, like Kandy was a potential example, and then we got the Mana region where we got lots of wind potential. Of course, we can implement it to like critical areas like Colombo as well, as long as we've got microgrid set up which can run independently or with the grid as well, then that can continuously provide power to essential industries like not just IT but other essential industries as well, and make money at the same time, because investment is one of the biggest issues at the moment. So if there's an investment potential, I'm sure companies wouldn't have an issue investing money into a project like this. Some interventions we've just jotted down here. Website that displays available potential. So the previous dashboard I told you, it's a open domain website. So anyone can go in and look at the data. So transparency is a huge issue in Sri Lanka, which, as we all know. So why don't we just become transparent? If we can build a system where we can, let the people know about the current usage. So if people are investing in a microgrid kind of system. So if we can be transparent about the usage peaks, and then if we, Achal earlier told about the TOU tariff. So people don't understand that unless they control their electricity usage during the peak demands, there's no solution for this. So if we can have dashboards that can, show all the information to the public, then that would be a good start. And then next would be the coordination with the industry that we talked about finances, about experts to get together to talk about RE options. And finally, about the conservation of the hydro catchments. That's something that we already do. We plant every weekend. I mean, whenever we have time, we just get our cars and get our earth augers and go and dig up and start planting trees, because we care about the environment, and we believe that the CEB has a huge responsibility in that sense. If during the rainy season, if we are producing 50% plus hydroelectricity, and if we boast about it, so then why not just protect the water that gives us the energy? Like I said, we are here to give our time, our effort, our expertise. We are more than happy to work in collaborative projects if we can provide our IT side of input. I've listed our information here as well. This is a new sector for us because IT is our main industry, energy is not our industry, so we had to do our own research in order to make the presentations here. We would really love to collaborate with you who are here if we can share our contacts so that we can work in the future together. Thank you so much for your time.